Documentary by filmmaker Rafiq Ilyas on the prisoners of Deoli. Through him and the film, the group came together on what they call a pilgrimage to their land of birth, starting with a tribute of Mahatma Gandhi at Rajghat, and since then they've been telling their story, one that we are saying is not known widely. Well, joining us in the studio right now, we have some of the voices of that film. Of course, Rafiq Ilyas, filmmaker as well, is joining us. The film is called Beyond Barbed Wires, A Distant Dawn. We also have Yin Marsh, who's a detainee, who was a detainee. She's based in the United States now and has written a book, a memoir of her days in that Deoli camp. We're also being joined by Stephen Wan, who's also an ex-detainee of that camp. He was 13 when he was taken in there. He now lives in Canada. Yin and Steve and Rafiq, thank you all very much for joining us. Yin, first tell us about the memoirs you've written. Your book is titled Doing Time with Nehru. Explain why.
Well, when we were in the Deoli camp, the barrack that we were assigned to, later on we found out that Nehru was interned in that same camp, in the same barrack, years ago during the uprisings against the British. And so I thought it would be appropriate to name the book Doing Time with Nehru. And it's basically a memoir of a 13-year-old remembering the time of growing up in Darjeeling.
And did you all know each other at that time?
No, we didn't.
You didn't know each other, Steve? No.
We come to know each other only after meeting them inside the camp after the war and arrested. Yeah.
So
in Deoli.
In Deoli,
yes.
Your film has brought everyone together, Rafiq, in a sense.
Yeah, in a way it has, and it's been sort of gathering steam. This is my second film actually on the Chinese community in India.
So it's a topic that I think really touched your heart as well a lot.
It did, because here was a microscopic minority that was badly treated and that nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
That was what really sort of disturbed me, and that's actually the first task of this group that's come here, is to create that awareness.
Stephen, you live in Canada now.
Yes.
You were 13 when you went in to the Deoli camp. And this is your first trip back, right?
The first trip coming back to my birth country.
Tell us about how it's been for you, this trip.
Well, I'm glad to be here. The sad part was, although I was detained in the camp for two months, and after when we were released from the camp and by train to eventually released in Howrah Bridge train station in Calcutta. And that was only half the freedom I got, because as we came out of the train, and there were two people coming towards us, and they were the two former Deoli internees who were released about 3 or 4 months before us. So they came to welcome us, but halfway in between they were arrested by the security guard, saying that they didn't have the travel permit to come to Howrah Bridge. So they were detained because at that time the Howrah Bridge is a restricted area. So they were arrested again at Howrah Bridge. But anyway, beside that, we were taken to Calcutta Chinatown. And more or less we were dumped on the side of the street. And we didn't have any idea where we will be staying that night. And eventually we ended up staying in the Chinese temple. By the time we went to bed, it was around 2 o'clock in the morning. And by 5 in the morning again, somebody woke us up saying that there's a corpse coming in, which is the dead body for the funeral. So we were waken up again, and we packed up our blankets and all, and out on the street again. And that's how hard it was for our first day and first night after the release from the camp.
And you never thought of coming back before this trip? You've never thought of visiting? Why is that? Too hard?
Too hard. Everything is suppressed within myself. I work in Canada for 36 years in a big company. And we have so many different nationalities. And people ask me where you are from, and I never had the courage to say that. At one time, I was an internist from Duli camp, because at that time I was so humiliated. I have no identity. Although I was born in India, in Kalimpong, in 1949.
Yeah.
And when I was applying for the Canadian, coming to Canada, I applied for the Indian citizenship.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get it.
And you couldn't get it. Ian, tell us your story, because it's very moving and it's very powerful to hear these memories that you all have. Have you been back to India often, or
No, I came back a couple of times.
to research the book as well?
No,
or just
I came back with my sister actually. She was never interned, but she had a lot of friends still in India, and she talked me into coming with her to a wedding one time.
And how was that trip for you?
It was very emotional, very difficult, but it was fun being at the wedding.
Do you think that with the passage of time now, with the film, there has been a kind of a catharsis, a distilling of emotions, of something which is clearly very painful for all of you to have gone through?
Well, for me personally, I think writing my memoir, you know, reaching back into the past and dealing with the memories I had suppressed for 40 years, I think for me that was very cathartic.
That was?
Yes, definitely.
And what about meeting with the others? Rafiq, how many people have come on this trip?
On this trip there are only 4 people, but there is an association in Canada of ex-internees who meet once a year at least, and they are a sizable number.
So, Ian, do you attend a lot of those meetings?
Not only attended one.
And how's that been when you all get together? How is it?
I guess my last time I went, it was more just a celebration of just being there. But you know, I don't think people talk too much about our experiences in the camp. Is that how you?
Yes, about Duli camp internees. So most of the former internees was based in the United States and Canada. So in 2010, we organized and formed an association as a former Duli internees. And that's how the word spread out, and we were all across the country in North America and worldwide, and we communicate each other about our past experience about this Duli camp.